Hush Club. How's it going?
Great. How about you?
So far, so good. How did you guys start in music?
Yeah. So I've been playing music in some capacity my whole life. I was a classic kid who took instrument lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
I went to a music school for middle school where I learned a lot about theory and singing and stuff like that. And then when I got to college, I was really excited to start playing rock music with other musicians. And
Nice.
I met Alistair at a show that we were both at, and we realized we had similar music taste. And yeah, we started working together in 2016 in various projects. And then this band Hush Club formed in 2019, and we've been working together making music ever since.
Nice. Why the name Hush Club? Where the name came from?
We just like the way it sounds. I think they're nice words.
Yeah,
Nice.
honestly, it was the kind of thing where like we were trying to work through a bunch of names, and there was a whole spreadsheet with hundreds of them, and we were trying to figure out which ones had a cool meaning or were reference to something we thought was interesting. But eventually, we just landed on the fact that that one just to us sounded the coolest, and so I wish there was a cooler story about it, but that's pretty much where it came from.
Nice. I saw you guys on the Boston Globe about a viral strategy that you guys use in TikTok. Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, so we've we've been posting on TikTok for a while, and some of the videos haven't done so well. And then we happen to have this one video. Chris is really good at making pizza. He's got a pizza oven and he makes the
Hey,
dough and makes the
I need to
topping.
try that soon.
Yeah, yeah, and so I happened to we were hanging out one night, the two of us and Liz, and Chris was making pizzas and we were helping, but mostly Chris was doing it and I was filming and put that a little clip of that on TikTok with our song playing, and made a joke about like if you save this video, we'll give you free pizza, and a lot of people were interested in I think some combination of the song and the free pizza and hanging
Yeah.
out with us and stuff. And so we couldn't have all those people over to our house for free pizza. So what we ended up doing was turning it into an event right after our next Boston show, which
Oh,
was just
nice.
after this. And so we got a bunch of these people from TikTok coming to the show, and then we took them all out for pizza. We bought a bunch of pizzas at this place right down the street from the show, and we had a pizza party with our fans afterward, which was a lot of fun.
Nice. Going on, you guys got the spring tour. Can you explain what it is?
Yeah, so we yeah, as we said, played a Boston headliner recently, and we were excited at how much of a success it ended up being for us, and so we wanted to start, bringing the show back to some other cities that we haven't been to in a while. We were doing a little bit of touring before the pandemic. We haven't done much of that since, but it felt like the right time to get the show back on the road. So we're gonna hit Burlington, Vermont, Portland, Maine, Western Mass, and Amherst, and New York City this fall. And
No,
then they'll,
spring.
oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I apologize. And then more dates this fall we'll be doing, which
Oh,
we'll
nice.
announce. But yeah, no, the idea is just to try to bring the same sort of atmosphere that we were proud we created at the Brighton Music Hall show in Boston to some of these other cities, and we're hoping. Well, we're not hoping. We are going to do the free pizza hangs in those other cities too. So
Amen,
when you
amen.
go to those places, you
You,
can come get free pizza with us.
nice. You guys are from Boston. Is it difficult being a local artist here in Boston, or is more easier? What do you think? Is it difficult or easier to be a local band from Boston nowadays?
Compared to what? Compared to like being from
To
New York
New
City?
York and those of other places.
I think I don't. The real answer is we've never tried doing it from any other city, so I can't really say, right? If we tried it in New York and then LA and then Boston, I could say, well, New York was like this and LA was like that and Boston was like this. I like Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, since we've been in Boston for a few years,
Mm.
we've been able to sort of climb the ladder in Boston, right? You start
Yeah,
off playing at, bars that will kind of just let anybody play, and that's not an insult to those bars. They're a very important
yeah.
part of the scene. but you start off at these bars that kind of let anybody play, and then you get into, music clubs that are a little more professional, that hold maybe
Yeah,
150 people, and then you can graduate from there to rooms that hold like 250 people, and then Brighton Music Hall, the last place we headlined, holds 500 people. And so being in one city for so long, you get to sort of build your fan base up
yeah,
and do that. So I think we have a good following in Boston because we've been in Boston for so long. And I think if we were from Chicago, we would have climbed the same ladder in Chicago. It's sort of whatever your hometown is, you climb that ladder and then you go on tour and bring it to other people.
For
So
sure.
mm,
I think maybe you have some other perspective, but I think it's kind of around the same as being from other cities. No matter where you're from, you've got to climb the ladder in your hometown, and then you've got to see if you can make it work other places.
nice.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll add to that is just that I think you know, I agree. I can only really speak to the Boston scene, but it has been really cool over the course of the time we've been here, sort of making friends with other
Yeah,
musicians in the area. There's a really great community of artists who are writing music in all kinds of different genres in the Alston area, in Somerville, in Cambridge. JP is a cool music scene. Uh,
hey, I'm from
it's
JP actually.
Oh, hey, yeah, right on. Yeah, yeah. Like places like the Midway Cafe and all
Yeah,
those. And yeah, so I think it's been really awesome to get to become a part of that community of people in the music world too around here. There's
nice,
lots of other really nice folks and other bands and people who run the venues and run sound at the venues. And so yeah, again, I can't necessarily speak to other cities, but we've really enjoyed that aspect of being part of the Boston scene.
nice. Do you guys remember the first time you was on stage? Was you guys scared or not on your first time on stage?
First time in my life or first time with Hush Club?
Yeah, first time with Hush Club. How was it?
So this is Club Bohemia, I guess, right?
Yeah,
And
I guess that's right.
I wasn't that scared because Chris and I played together, and Liz too, in bands with different names and playing different kinds of music before this. So it didn't really feel like the beginning of something as much as it felt
Yeah,
like a change. And so it felt like, yeah, I don't know. You're always a little bit nervous. You always want to do it right. And, I remember that first gig, we were playing some songs for the first time. We'd never played a couple of our songs before. And it's always a little bit nervous to see how those are going to go the
yeah,
first time. But I don't remember being that scared. I remember being a lot of fun. We had it was our senior spring of college. A lot of our friends were in the audience, and everyone wanted us to succeed and was, even if we didn't quite nail a harmony or something, they were rooting for us. They were on our side. And so I remember just having a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. I remember that show being really fun too. I think I remember being a little bit nervous at that one. I think whenever you put on a big show that you've like worked hard to plan and that you're trying to play songs that you've spent a lot of time writing and you want them to come across well and you want to make sure you perform at the best of your ability. I think there's always a little part of you for most performers I've talked to, but certainly for me, that's like, oh man, I better bring my A game today.
yeah,
So I think usually if you've practiced enough and if you've put in the time to prepare, it
yeah.
usually is fine. But I definitely can relate to having some nerves before things like that. But as Alistair said, I think I remember that night mostly for being really fun and a special sort of initiation for us into the Boston music scene.
Uh, this question I like to ask a lot because it's my favorite question to always ask to every band or artist that I interview, and it is, what advice would you give your younger self?
Mm.
Mm, hmm. Uh,
I would say maybe one thing that I feel like maybe I could have done differently earlier was
Mhm.
to not be afraid to take risks and to try a bunch of different methods for trying to build an audience. I think for a while with particularly social media posts and things like TikTok, I think we sometimes we're trying really hard to make sure that every post we made was like perfectly edited and like we'd really thought hard about the idea and I think we made a lot of content that I felt proud of, but it
Yeah.
was inefficient. And I think what I've learned recently, at least, is that the sort of idea of like try any idea you have, like any idea is a good idea. And I don't think that means it's low effort. I think it still takes a lot of effort to consistently show up and post every day and put lots of songs out there. And basically, it applies to any aspect of what you're doing as a creator. But I think like the more sort of shots on goal you can get, I think that's always the best. And I think it's easy sometimes to feel afraid and be like, oh, well, what if this thing I post doesn't show my best side? Or what if, I'm not good enough to, you know,
Yeah.
put this idea forward? But I think if you can overcome that fear and just realize that it's really just about trying as many times as you can, I think that at least for us, I think has made a difference in our strategy recently. So that's probably the advice I would give my younger self: is don't be afraid. Just every idea you have, try it. It's worth the shot.
Nice. Any new music? Any new album or EP?
We've got a single that's going to come out in 11 days. It's
Ooh.
called it's called Overflow, and I wish Liz was here to talk about it because she sings it and she mostly wrote it, but we were involved too, and in some ways maybe we're less biased than Liz because it's not our song. So we can say without any caveat, it's really good. We're really
Uh,
proud of it.
why,
Um,
why so long to drop it? Why 11 days?
11 days. Well, because what you want to do, this is sort of a technical behind the scenes thing, but when you send a song to Spotify, streaming and other streaming services, they like to have some advance notice. If you tell them we want it to come out in 3 days, they might not be able to get it. And I've had friends try to do that, and it ends up coming out 3 days later on Amazon, but 5 days later on Spotify, and 6 days later on Apple Music, and it's kind of a mess. And
Uh,
so we like to give them at least a week or two so that it's a clean rollout, so that, midnight on Friday, April 12th, the song's going to be out everywhere. No question.
nice. Any last word would you like to say, guys, before we finish the interview?
Yeah, I would just say, keep an eye out for our new song on April 12th. I think you'll enjoy it if you liked our last single or our other music so far. That's one. I would say you can find us on all social media. We're Hush Club Band on most platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter,
Facebook.
X, whatever they're
Yeah.
calling it now.
I don't like
Uh,
calling it X.
yeah, I don't either. It feels like it's always going to be Twitter to me.
Exactly.
But yeah, so follow us on social media. And then I'd say if you want to come catch a show and eat free pizza with us afterwards and hang out and get to know us, take a look at our website at hushclubband /shows, and ticket links are there for all of those shows in Amherst, Mass, Portland, Maine, Burlington, Vermont, and New York City.
And many more to come.
And many more to come in the fall. So keep an eye out. Another reason to follow us on social media so you can keep track of all that exciting updates that we'll have this year.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for for giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys, and I hope to see you guys soon in one of the events.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. And thank you so much for reaching out. We had a great time talking to you.
Same here. Alrighty, my friend. Take care.
All right.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.